Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Harihi Om Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Janaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishna. Welcome to the readings and reflections on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are reading from the book written by Swami Nikhilananji. It is a translation work from the Bengali original, Sri Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita, written by Sri M. Mahendranath Gupta. We were in page 265, but the paragraph starts from the 264, so I am starting from there, just to have a recapitulation. The master and his devotees were served by Jadu with sweets and fruit, and then the party left for the home of Kailat Ghosh. Kailat Ghosh's house was a big mansion, but it looked deserted. As the master entered the house, he fell into an ecstatic mood. M. Ramlal and a few other devotees were with him. Their host was Kailat Ghosh's brother-in-law. He was an old man, a Vaishnava. His body was stamped with the name of God, according to the Vaishnava custom, and he carried in his hand a small bag containing his rosary. He had visited the master now and then at Dakshineswar. But most of the Vaishnavas held narrow religious views. They criticized the Vedantis and the followers of the Shiva cult. Sri Ramakrishna soon began to speak. Master, it is not good to feel that one's own religion alone is true and all others are false. God is one only and not two. Different people call on him by different names, some as Allah, some as God, and others as Krishna, Shiva, and Brahman. It is like the water in a lake. Some drink it at one place and call it Jal, others at another place and call it Pani, and still others at a third place and call it water. The Hindus call it Jal, the Christians water, and the Muslims Pani. But it is one and the same thing. Opinions are but paths. Each religion is only a path leading to God, as rivers come from the different directions and ultimately become one in the one ocean. The truth established in the Vedas, the Puranas, and the Tantras is but one Satchidananda. In the Vedas, it is called Brahman. In the Puranas, it is called Krishna, Rama, and so on. And in the Tantras, it is called Shiva Shakti. The one Satchidananda is called Brahman, Krishna, and Shiva. The devotees were silent. A Vaishnava devotee. Sir, why should one think of God at all? Master, if a man really has that knowledge, that is, the knowledge that God exists within and without and everywhere, in that case, thinking of God is superfluous. Then he is indeed liberated, though living in a body. Not all by any means believe in God. They simply talk. The worldly minded have heard from someone that God exists and that everything happens by his will. But it is not their inner belief. Do you know what a worldly man's idea of God is like? It is like the children's swearing by God when they quarrel. They have heard the word while listening to the elderly aunts quarreling. Is it possible for all to comprehend God? God has created the good and the bad, the devoted and the impious, the faithful and the skeptical. The wonders that we see all exist in His creation. In one place, there is more manifestation of His power, in another, less. The sun's light is better reflected by water than by earth, and still better by a mirror. Again, there are different levels among the devotees of God: superior, mediocre, and inferior. All this has been described in the Gita. Vaishnava. True, sir, master. The inferior devotee says, God exists, but he is very far off, up there in heaven. The mediocre devotee says, God exists in all beings as life and consciousness. The superior devotee says, it is God Himself who has become everything. Whatever I see is only a form of God. It is He alone who has become Maya, the universe, and all living beings. Nothing exists but God. Vaishnava. Does anyone ever attain that state of mind? Master. One cannot attain it unless one has seen God. But there are signs that a man has had the vision of God. A man who has seen God sometimes behaves like a madman. He laughs, weeps, dances, and sings. Sometimes he behaves like a child 5 years old, guileless, generous, without vanity, unattached to anything, not under the control of any of the gunas, always blissful. Sometimes he behaves like a ghoul. He doesn't differentiate between things pure and things impure. He sees no difference between things clean and things unclean. And sometimes he is like an inert thing, staring vacantly. He cannot do any work. He cannot strive for anything. Was the master making a veiled reference to his own states of mind? Master, to the Vaishnava devotee, the feeling of thee and thine is the outcome of knowledge. I and mine comes from ignorance. Knowledge makes one feel, O God, thou art the doer and I am thy instrument. O God, to thee belongs all: body, mind, house, family, living beings, and the universe. All these are thine. Nothing belongs to me. An ignorant person says, Oh, God is there, very far off. The man of knowledge knows that God is right here, very near, in the heart, that he has assumed all forms and dwells in all hearts as their inner controller. So, welcome to the devotees and friends on this 71st week of the readings and reflections on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. I must wish every one of you a happy new year of 2021. And this 2021 happy new year, as we say, begins in, of course, a very pensive mood. We are all worried about what this corona is going to do. It has done already much damage to most of us. But then this year, 2021, may be the harbinger of healing from this virus. 1st January is celebrated all over the world as the new year. And that 1st January day has got a special significance for the Ramakrishna devotees. What is their special significance? So some devotees ask me to give some idea about why Ramakrishna devotees celebrate this not only as the first January, as the beginning of the year, but also as Kalpataru Day. It's a very beautiful word, Kalpataru. So, the Kalpana means imagination. In most of the Indian vernaculars, we have this word, Kalpana, imagination. So, Kalpa means to think of or to conjure up, to imagine. So, if you can imagine a time which is so vast, which you cannot even calculate, that is can be very well called kalpa. So a kalpa is a time span of unimaginative dimension. That's why it is called kalpa. So from that word kalpana also comes. So this kalpa taru is a beautiful term. Two words are coined together, kalpa and taru. So kalpa is the imagination, as I told you, the connotation meaning I'm telling. And then taru means tree. So what is the tree that is imagined? So in the Puranas, when the story goes on, like the Devas and Asuras came together and took Vasuki snake as a rope, and they started churning the ocean with the Mandara mountain as a pole. So many things came up. One such thing, precious thing, is this tree. This tree was so wonderful, and it went to Devatas. So all the Devatas saw the tree, and they decided that this tree is best kept with the king of the Devatas, the lord of the Devatas. So the lord of the Devatas was called Indra. So they said, "Oh Indra, you are the lord of all of us. You take care of us. You protect us. So let us give this tree at your garden. Let this be there." So what is this tree's function? Tree is like any other tree. It has got branches, it has got leaves, it has got flowers, and it has got everything as the tree has got. But then one special quality of this tree was very, very charming. That is, when you need anything, you just go and stand nearer to the tree and pray, "O Kalpataru, please bestow me this desire I want." Immediately, what you desired, that item will come out from the tree. So Indra was very pleased. So whenever he wanted anything, so he would go there, and it seems he is enjoying the tree's presence in his garden. So Kalpataru is, in another way, it can be called as a wish fulfilling tree. So, what is the connection of the Devaloka Kalpataru, which is connected to the heavens, is connected to Ramakrishna? So, we must see what has happened on 1st January 1886. You know that Sri Ramakrishna passed away in the year 1886. Now, just before January, say in the month of October, November, after the Durga Puja, etc., he was very seriously ill, and he was kept in Kashipur Udyan Bati, the garden house of Kashipur. Those who have gone to Calcutta must have visited this Kashipur, a very beautiful place. There, Sri Ramakrishna stayed, getting healing. So the doctors used to come and meet him and prescribe medicines. So one such doctor who was treating him was known as Mahendra Lal Sarkar. He was a great doctor. He was initially an allopathy doctor. He believed in scientific medicines, and then He got converted later to homeopathy. Homeopathy, you all know that how it all came from Germany. And in Bengal, almost in every village, you'll find 10, 12 homeopaths, as they are called. Homeopathy doctor is called homeopath. So these homeopaths, there are many homeopaths. And Bengal took a lot of stride in development of homeopathy as a science. There is a medical homeopathy college also. So students are enrolled, taught medicine, and they become homeopath doctors. So homeopathy is very effective to millions of people, and it is the very cheapest method of treating the poorest of the poor. Allopathy medicines are very, very costly. I thought in India itself they are very costly. But after coming to foreign countries, I find in other countries it is 3 times, 4 times higher cost than the Indian generic medicines. So allopathy medicines are very costly. But compared to that, homeopath can distribute medicines at a very minimum cost. And strangely, there are people to whom homeopathy medicine suits very well. Even when I was in training center and I had a problem with my throat, and one of my training center brahmachari, my classmate, he was a past homeopathy doctor from Calcutta. He gave me a dose only, one dose, and that made me all right. So I have seen homeopath making miraculous results. So this Mahendralal Sarkar, he was a homeopath, he was treating Sri Ramakrishna. His guru was Dr. Rajendranath Datta. He was a very famous man for homeopathy, and he propagated homeopathy in such a way that Bengal became very popular place for getting homeopaths. So Rajendranath Datta, he heard about Sri Ramakrishna's disease of cancer of throat. He studied the disease and then he did research. He found out one medicine called Lycopodium 200 would work on Sri Ramakrishna. So he told his disciple, or Mahendralal Sarkar, look, your guru is suffering like this, and I heard about that, and I found out a medicine for him. It's a homeopathy medicine. Why don't you give him and try? So Mahendralal Sarkar said, okay, no problem. So one day Rajendranath Datta came to Kashipur and he gave that pudiya, as that the small packet of that medicine and left. So Sri Ramakrishna started taking that medicine. And within 15 days, there is a remarkable change in Sri Ramakrishna's health. He was almost sinking 15 days before. And now in the last 15 days of the December month, he became quiet. He was able to speak a little. He was able to take little payasam. Not any solid foods, but then some type of semi-solid food he was able to take. So there is an improvement in the general well-being, in the health of the Sri Ramakrishna. So everybody was very happy that the medicine is working. The homeopathy medicine is working. At that moment only the 1st January came. On the 1st January, morning went off because it's a holiday. People started coming to see Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna was lying in the bed. So some people came and met, etc. But afternoon, people started coming in greater number. So groups and groups of devotees started coming to Kashipur. Because it's the 1st January, it is a holiday. 1st January during the British time is a holiday. And now, of course, every country gives a holiday for that. Because people want to revel in the holiday, the first day of the day. In South Africa, I've seen on 1st Kalpataru day, early morning, by 7:30, people would come to the ashram. So we'd finish our satsang by 10 o'clock so that people are free for the whole day. So the first work in your job, in your life on 1st January should be the worship. So people come. In Ranchi, I have seen Kalpataru Day. Kalpataru Day, we used to have evening program. But then the morning itself, by 7 o'clock, host of devotees would arrive at the sanatorium. And we all would meet and they all would greet us. And they would bring lots of sweets. And ashram also prepare some sweets and then distribute to them. It's a very, very joyful occasion to meet the devotees, and exchange the ideas on Sri Ramakrishna. So Kalpataru day is a very joyful day. So Sri Ramakrishna, since he felt a little better on that day, so by 3 o'clock or so, he came down the stairs. So his health became so good, he could walk down the stairs. And then he started walking on the campus road within the Kashipur building and the surroundings. There is a big wall is there. And within that campus, there is a road. In that road, he started walking. And he is looking at here and there. What did he see? He saw groups of devotees sitting and like they're talking to each other like that. And they were all only wondering about Sri Ramakrishna's health. And they were very happy to learn that Sri Ramakrishna's health has got improved. And the moment Sri Ramakrishna came down, they all stood up as a mark of respect. When a great man comes, when a guru comes, then you have to stand up. You are not supposed to sit. Even in big functions, in halls, when they do it, when the speaker enters, everybody gets up as a mark of respect. So all the devotees got up and they all stood putting their palms together in the Namaste fashion. And Sri Ramakrishna was walking there. So he's meeting this devotee, that devotee, smiling at each other, and then he's walking. And there, Atul, Girish Ghosh's brother, Girish Ghosh, Ram, and some more devotees, they were all together. Haran was there, Vaikunta was there. All these devotees were together in one group. They all came before Sri Ramakrishna, in front of him, and bowed down and touched his feet. Sri Ramakrishna was in a very, very joyful mood. In that joyful mood, he looked at the devotees, how with so great enthusiasm and devotion, they are bowing down at his feet. He looked at them. Slowly, Girish Ghosh was getting up. And the moment he saw Girish Ghosh, he immediately asked him a question. Sri Ramakrishna asked him, Girish, I hear that you are talking about me so many things, indicating there's an incarnation of God, like that. I hear so many things you are talking about me. What's that? What do you feel? And what do you know? Like that he asked. And Girish Ghosh was trembling. He has to answer the question. But in his inimitable style, Girish Ghosh answered. You know the background of Girish Ghosh. He was a dramatist and a writer of prose and poems and drama. And he is a director and producer, all in one combined. He had great, vast knowledge of Bengali literature. So, see, reading the literature, and he has got his mind has given a very beautiful reply to Sri Ramakrishna. He just put his hands together and told Sri Ramakrishna, Oh Lord, what about whom Valmiki and Vyasa could not exhaust telling, what this puny creature can tell anything? So he didn't say, I didn't tell anything about you. And he also did not say, I know so many things about you. What he said very humbly was that Valmiki and Vyasa, they could not exhaust, even by writing such a huge epics. Valmiki wrote Ramayana and Vyasa wrote Mahabharata. Ramayana speaks about the glory of Sri Ram, and Mahabharata speaks about the glory of Sri Krishna. Even though they wrote such a big epic, even though they wrote, they could not exhaust the glory of that God. And you are that. And this puny creature, how can it express anything about where Vyasa and Valmiki failed? What a beautiful answer you see. The moment this one sentence was uttered by Girish Ghosh, Sri Ramakrishna went into a transcendental mood. He was not in the normal level of consciousness. His mind soared to the higher level. And because what was ignited that telling him that he is none other than Rama and Krishna. The divine aspect of himself came out and his mind soared above everything and he blessed on that day. He blessed. There are many days in Dakshineswar. To some devotees, special devotees, he used to touch on head and bless. Today, he started touching everyone. And he blessed by saying that Chaitanya ho, Tumadere Chaitanya ho. May you be enlightened. May you have Chaitanya. Chaitanya means super consciousness. May you have the super consciousness. So he blessed everyone and he started touching the head. So whoever got the touch of Sri Ramakrishna on that day at that time, they had different type of spiritual experiences. The experiences we normally don't speak of. But on that day, there are people who got, particularly two people's experience are described in the Sri Ramakrishna Leela Prasanga. That is translated into English, Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master. The last chapter of that book speaks about this incident, this Kalpataru incident. And it says, Swami Sardhanji writes, two persons are noted for their divine experience. One was Haran, another was Vaikuntha. What happened to Haran? Haran used to go to Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineswar. Many times he used to sit with Sri Ramakrishna alone. And he would plead with him, "Oh Master, I am thinking of a state of mental condition where one can see God everywhere. Is it not?" Sri Ramakrishna said, "Yes, that is also a state, seeing God everywhere. That state I want to realize. So please give me, please bestow me that grace." Sri Ramakrishna used to tell him, wait. When the time comes, you will get it. See, everything you cannot get so quickly. Sometimes you have to work for that also. So he used to guide him spiritually. You do this sadhana, you do this method, you do this, etc. He used to guide him. So Haran was all the time practicing what his Guru Sri Ramakrishna was telling him. But his motive was to get that experience by which he could see God everywhere. So when Haran saw that he was blessing by touching the others, he ran to Sri Ramakrishna, bowed down at his feet, and then kept his head before him. And in a strange way, Sri Ramakrishna raised his right foot and then touched on his head with his foot. The moment he touched, that experience for which Haran was hankering all these years just dawned on him. So Haran says, I looked up, I see Sri Ramakrishna. What had happened? You wanted to see Sri Ramakrishna, the full form of Sri Ramakrishna. Could he see? On that day, he could see full form of Sri Ramakrishna. Sometimes you would see only the head, sometimes only the feet. And this is what happened to Haran. And he could see the full form, the effulgent form of Sri Ramakrishna. And I told you about the Vaikuntha Sanyal. He was the person who was hankering for seeing Sri Ramakrishna everywhere. Sorry, I confused with Haran and Vaikuntha. Yes, Haran wanted to see Sri Ramakrishna in full. Vaikuntha wanted to see everywhere. Now, this Vaikuntha also came on the day and met Sri Ramakrishna and got the blessings. He also started seeing Sri Ramakrishna everywhere as per his wish. And it went on. He went to house 3 days, 4 days gone. Everywhere he is seeing Lord only and is unable to eat food. He is unable to take bath. Because in the water he sees Sri Ramakrishna. The food he sees Sri Ramakrishna. Everywhere he is seeing Sri Ramakrishna, by which his mundane life became just stagnant. It seems his wife became alarmed and she ran to Sri Ramakrishna one day and told him about the condition. Said, please do something. Then Sri Ramakrishna closed his eyes and withdrew that benefit that he gave to him on 1st January. Afterwards, Vaikuntanath became normal. Normal in the sense he lost that vision. Later he used to tell Naren, that is Vivekananda, when the Belur Math was opened, he used to come to Belur Math and talk to the monks. He used to say, what a fool I was. My wife went and told Sri Ramakrishna to withdraw that. And he withdrew that grace. What would have happened? I would have died, that's all. But I would have got a very good experience. And now you see, that experience comes rarely, not all the time. Because Sri Ramakrishna blessed everyone, irrespective of anything, of the status or anything. Everyone got the blessings from him. So he became a wish-fulfilling tree. He was compared to that Kalpataru. So the devotees, particularly Haran, Vaikuntana Sanyal, and other devotees, they all started doing a memorial day. So from next year onwards, from 1887 onwards, when the 1st January comes in every year, so they started celebrating it as Kalpataru. So this Kalpataru day is 1st January. But then what happened to the would-be monks of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna? Where were they? Some monks were there, that is the boys were there. They were all attending to the room of Sri Ramakrishna. Since Ramakrishna came out, so they cleaned the room. They were cleaning the room. They dusted all the beddings. Those things they were doing there. So none of the monastic disciple was present in that place. So Swami Saradananji, while writing about this Kalpataru, he reminds us about this Kalpataru. You know, this Kalpataru is the quality of the Kalpataru, as I told you in the Devaloka. Whatever you ask, it gives you. Sri Ramakrishna used to make fun of this Kalpataru tree also. So one fellow, he went into forest and he lost his way. And he was there 3-4 days gone, no food, no place to rest. And he was afraid of the darkness of the forest. And suddenly he came across a tree. It was something, a little different kind of tree. So he stood before that. And he said, what a wonderful tree you are. I'm reminded of the Kalpataru. Are you Kalpataru? If you are Kalpataru, please give me some food. I want to eat. So immediately the food packets came. So the fellow ate nicely. So every day he's sitting there and eating. After some days, he said, oh Kalpataru, you are so gracious to give me food. At least you have kept my hunger at a particular level. Okay, now I don't have a place to stay. Why don't you give me a palace? Immediately a palace came up. So he went into the palace. All the comforts are there. With all the comforts, he is now staying in a huge room with all the comforts, and he is spending happily there. But it's not happiness, it's short-lived, Then he came to Kalpataru. Oh Kalpataru, you gave me food for eating. You gave me a place to rest my head. Why don't you give me a wife also, so that I can spend my days well? So immediately a damsel came there. So he took her inside the house and they were living very enjoyable life. One day he came again to Kalpataru. And then he started again telling Kalpataru, "Oh Kalpataru, you gave me food, you gave me place to rest, you gave me a wife also to serve me. But sometimes I'm worried if a tiger comes now and eats me away." The moment he said these words, a tiger appeared and he ate him. So Sri Ramakrishna says, be careful about this Kalpataru. Whatever you will ask, you will get it. Are you prepared to receive what you are wishing? They used to say that a man got a lottery of $16 million. The moment the news went to him, he got a heart attack and he died. So what is the use of demanding from God a lottery ticket and then you are unable to enjoy it? So they say that Kalpataru is such, it will give you what you ask. So Swami Sadhananji raises a pertinent question. He says, if you are all thinking Sri Ramakrishna is Kalpataru, is he that type of Kalpataru that bestows whatever you ask? No. He differs from that view. He says Sri Ramakrishna is not like that. Sri Ramakrishna gives you what you deserve and what is needed for you. Whatever you want, he won't give you. When you pray to Sri Ramakrishna, something that will not take you in spiritual line, that will be denied to you. He won't give you. He won't listen to you. How many people have come and prayed to Sri Ramakrishna, give me that, give me this? He was not willing to grant their desires. But if you ask something that will be helpful to your spiritual life, he is always ready to bestow upon you. That's why he's teaching on that day that you shall gain super consciousness. You will have Chaitanya. But then, whatever may be, but then there is nothing wrong in thinking Sri Ramakrishna as Kalpataru in this sense that when, even for good things that I ask, who is going to give me? So if Sri Ramakrishna gives me, why should I not consider him as a Kalpataru? So among the devotees, the celebration started gaining prominence, and today, even the Ramakrishna Mission centers, the Swamis, everybody joins that joyful celebration. So in joining a joyful celebration, there is nothing wrong. So we also join that. And therefore, to every one of you, happy Kalpataru Day. So let us come to today's subject. Here, one of the points that strikes me in the passage that we are reading now is that what happens to someone, the superior devotee. Sri Ramakrishna explaining to the Vaishnava about the three types of devotees. He says three stratifications he makes. One is inferior, another is mediocre, and the third is superior. So among the devotees, these three categories are there. So he explains that the inferior devotee says, God exists, but is very far off. Where is Lord Shiva? Shiva is in Kailasha. Where is Lord Vishnu? He is in Vaikuntha. So you say that God is, I believe in God, but God is not near me. He is somewhere far off. Where he is, you may not even know, but he is far off. You say that much. That type of devotees, because they believe in God, only thing they don't accept that God is near. That type of devotee is inferior type of devotion. So what is the mediocre type of devotion? He says, mediocre devotee says, God exists in all beings as a life and consciousness, as a prana shakti, as a prana. Even an ant is moving. That ant has got God in it. Because of the presence of God in the ant, that ant moves on. The Chaitanya, the Chit, that intelligence is there. Have you not seen intelligence in worms also? So Swamiji compares a worm on the railway track, and it sees at a distance that mammoth engine is coming, and immediately it goes down so that it doesn't get killed. It has got intelligence. It understands there is a danger in that. So Chit is there, Chaitanya is there, even in the smallest worm. So he says that type of devotees, they accept the God exists in the as a Chit and consciousness and at, as a life, as prana. So those people are mediocre devotees. Then what is the superior devotee? What does he think? The superior devotee says it is God himself who has become everything. Whatever I see is only a form of God. Nothing exists but God. Now, the second mediocre devotee said, God lives in every being. But the superior devotee says, it's not God is living in something. That something is itself is God. God has become everything. So this is the highest knowledge which Ramakrishna speaks about the superior devotee says. So the Vaishnava devotee who's hearing it, he says, does anyone ever attain that state of mind? That state of means the superior devotee state of mind, that seeing God everywhere. Does anyone attain? That's what he's asking. See, this is a very tricky question because even in Gita, Sri Krishna very clearly says, he says that Sarva Bhutatmanatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshana. How beautifully Sri Krishna says that Sarva Bhutanam Atmanam and then Sarva Bhutani Atmani. There are two sides to the same coin of a God realized soul. He sees God in everything. Which God? The God who is reside within himself. So he realizes God within himself and he sees the same God in everything. So if you see, put it other way, everything remains within you because you are seeing God in everything. Sarva Bhutastam. So in all the bhutas and all the beings, the God is. Stam means is staying. He is established. God is established. And that God now within Atmani. So if God is present in all beings, and that I am also included in all the beings, then is it not true that all the beings are within me? Like that, Ikshate Yoga Yukta Atma, one who has joined his mind with God, Yoga Yukta Atma. So he has combined himself with the God. That means he and God non-different. That type of realized soul, Ikshate, he looks, he sees. So he sees. That type of status, can anybody attain that? This is what the Vaishnava is asking. So Master is giving him a very beautiful answer. You see, one cannot attain this state unless one has seen God. If you have not got God realization, then this status, this state of mind does not come. Then he says, but how do you know that a person has attained this state? Is there any method, any science that or does he have two horns, special horns, so that we can recognize he is a man who has realized God? No. But from the behavior, one can understand. So Sri Ramakrishna brings out four types of behavior of a realized soul. What are those behavior? He says, a man who has seen God sometimes behaves like a madman. And then, secondly, sometimes he behaves like a child. So, madman, childlike. Third, he says, sometimes he behaves like a ghoul. Ghouls, in Bengali, it is called pishacha. Pishacha is translated in English as a ghoul. So, pishacha is one of the, yesterday as I was telling you, there are different unseen beings. So, one of the being is a pishacha. So, this pishacha, he acts like a pishacha. And fourth type of behavior is that he's like a dull, absolutely inert. That means a stone put on a place, like a dull. He's staying there. It's called a jada. So the first one, madman, is called unmadavat. Unmadavat means like a unmada. Unmada means madman. So like a madman, and then balakvat. Like, what is in Sanskrit? It's called like. So like a balaka, a child. So balakavat. Third is pisachvat, like a pishacha, like a ghost. And fourth is the inert, like a stone. It's called jadavat. So these are the four states Sri Ramakrishna gives here to Vaishnava and explains to him. From these types of behavior, one can understand that person has realized God. It's very interesting to see. Do we not see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna that he also realized God? He was a man of realization. Did he exhibit these four types of behavior in his life? Well, very funny incidents are there. If you can remember some of the incidents, it's wonderful homework I can give to all the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. If you are reading his life, please go through the life. Try to find out these four types of behavior that Sri Ramakrishna is telling about the realized soul. In what way Sri Ramakrishna exhibited? When did he exhibit? What was that situation? It is a matter of thesis for you. You can just take up the life and start noting down. Particularly those who write blogs, they can write blog on this topic. It's a very beautiful remembrance on the life of Sri Ramakrishna. You know, that many times our meditation is not fulfilled. Our mind does not set at one point of object of God. At that time, mind may like to jump from one point to another point. At that time, if you take up thinking of Sri Ramakrishna's life, so it is called Leela Dhyanam. The Leela, the sporting place of Sri Ramakrishna. If you start thinking in your mind, that itself can become a dhyana, a meditation. So what a beautiful way that we have got. Our ancient sages have devised all these ways. That's why they used to think of Sri Krishna's Leela, Sri Ramachandra's Leela. Why should you think of Leela? Because mind is easily focused. Mind gets easily attracted to one pointed attention. So when it gets concentrated, that becomes a great power in our hand. So the meditation comes. So dharana, as Patanjali says, dharana. The dharana shakti comes. When dharana shakti, you fine tune it, it becomes dhyana. So the next stage in the Ashtanga Marga, in the 8 steps of yoga, Patanjali says, after the dharana concentration comes dhyana, that is meditation. If there is no concentration, no meditation for you. Of course, the meditation is the most oft repeated, or I should say, oft abused word in English language, particularly in spiritual subjects. It is being used by any and everyone. And people who teach meditation also, they do not try to tell you that the previous steps are to be also to be considered. There are only very few people who will tell you exactly what meditation is. Dhyana, one pointed attention. So Patanjali describes this as pouring of oil from one container to another container. You take an oil bottle and pour it. How the oil falls into another container? It comes straight line. It doesn't go here and there. But through water is not like that. So like an oil, how the oil falls from one container to another container, so smooth, so one pointed, completely focused. Like that meditation, that is called meditation. Fixing mind on one object. Now, there are many helpful hints for you. So, one of them is this Leela Dhyana or Charitra Dhyana. In Hindi, we call Charitra Dhyana. So, the Leela Dhyanam, when you think of the sporting life of the avatars, then what happens? Your mind becomes very, very focused, and it is very, and then you are getting into the next step of Dhyanam. So, this type of completely putting your mind, I'm telling you, try to find out from Sri Ramakrishna's life what incidents you can bring out. Of course, I will tell you 2-3 incidents just to give you an idea. For instance, this Balakvat, let us take Balakvat. Balakvat means childlike. How Sri Ramakrishna was absolutely childlike at many places, at many situations. There were situations he was very grave. Swami Brahmananji says Rakhal. When he was Rakhal, he used to stay in the same room of Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineswar. So he says, I am really surprised. At midnight, I get up, I open my eyes and look at, where is Sri Ramakrishna? Is he sleeping on his cot? To my great amazement, I would see Sri Ramakrishna is walking to and fro within the room like a madman. I used to get fear. He's walking fast. What has happened to him? So some situations were very grave. He would not even speak at that time. And if he goes into samadhi, and nobody can even touch him. That Sri Ramakrishna, who goes into samadhi, muhur, again and again, he goes into samadhi, that Ramakrishna sometimes exhibits balakvat, like a child, the qualities of a child. So what is balakvat? He himself explains. He gives a definition. The childlike means, he says, a child of 5 years old, for instance, he is asking us to imagine 5 years old, guileless, generous, without vanity, unattached to anything, not under the control of any of the gunas. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, 3 gunas are there. He is neither under the control of any of the gunas, always blissful. So he gives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 qualities he says speaks about the child. A child has got these 6 qualities. We have seen, we all have seen children, and the children, how they behave, at times we have seen. One of these is guileless. You see, there is no question of doubting anything. Mother tells the child, today is Purnima, so we shall do some prayer in the home. Okay? And the child says, okay. So every Purnima, the child expects. If you tell the child, you put 3 times, say you take a spoon and give 3 times, and the child takes 3 times. The mother says, no, not 3 times, 4 times, or 2 times, never 3 times, she says, and he imbibes it. He doesn't question. A child of 5-year-old will not question you. He doesn't want a scientific meaning for these type of things. Mother is telling that's enough. My mom has told 3 times I should not take, either 2 or 4. Now that's all over for him. Sri Ramakrishna was like that. Somebody was talking together, somebody was talking to another man, and Sri Ramakrishna was looking and hearing his. So that man was telling, you see, the best remedy for snake bite. So in the general talk he was telling, the best remedy for the snake bite is the snake comes and bites you again. Then the poison will go off. So that man did not tell fully. But Sri Ramakrishna believed it just like a child. So one day he went for his toilet purpose, and then while coming back, he felt that some snake came and bit him on the feet. So it has bit him on the foot. It was a water snake, it's not poisonous. So he felt that something has bit him. So immediately he remembered, childlike, he remembered that idea. Oh, that man was telling on that day that if the snake comes and bits me again, then the poison will not be there. So he was searching for a pit. So he put his hand into that. And he was sitting there waiting. The snake would come and bite him again. Child. Such absolute belief in what that man told. And another man passed by and he said, what are you doing? Why you are putting in that hole your hand? That hole is all snake holes. Why are you putting your hand there? No, I got bit by a snake. So somebody told me if you put the snake bites again, then your poison will go away. That fellow simply laughed and laughed. Arey, master, you don't know that. The rule is the snake should bite in the same spot of your body. Then only the poison will go. But it bit you on your foot and you are putting your hand in that. Get up, come away. And Sri Ramakrishna came away. You see how childlike. This incident, this Sri M mentions in the gospel. So how wonderful it is. It gives joy, to us, how Sri Ramakrishna became a childlike. And while talking like that, somebody told him, and he was listening to that, during the spring season, the wind, the blow of the wind is so beautiful and it is enjoyable. Somebody told him. So Sri Ramakrishna says, believing that, so while going to Calcutta in his cart, so what it is, there was a small window was there. So he put his head through the window, he put it outside, and the breeze was coming during the spring season. And he said, I believed that true, but then it was enjoyable, I thought. But then after 2 days, I got terrific cold. So everybody laughed. So this is childlike. So 2 instances I told about childlike. Then what are the instances can be for the other 3 states of mind? So I leave it to you. Find out, and if you want, you can communicate with me about those points. Let us proceed further next week. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.